Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Morgan and I just wanted to come on here, give you guys a brief little life update and tell you a jaw-dropping story. If you're wondering, I am not in Bali anymore. I left Bali and I'm here in Spain. I have the privilege to spend some time with my boyfriend. Anyways, I hope you are all having a lovely, blessed morning or evening, day, wherever you are in the world or whatever time it is for you. I really just wanted to share this. I say story, but it is my testimony. I want to share my testimony with you all and hopefully it can shed some light on your life. So the story, it really stems from when I was 18 years old. I went out to San Diego for the first time in my life. I fell so in love with the energy there, just San Diego in itself. Coming from someone that's always lived on the East Coast, and I lived in Texas for a little bit, San Diego was just completely out of the normal for me, something I'd never seen before. The land, like the place itself just inspired me so much. I was like, I want to live here someday. I dropped out of college, not just because I went to San Diego, but there were some other life circumstances. I said to myself, well, how can I use the skill set that I've grown into being 18 years old? Or how can I make money to get to San Diego? Like, what job can I work to get me to San Diego? And this is where my spiritual journey started for me. I was 18 years old. I was inspired by the magic that I was experiencing out in San Diego. I'm gonna fast forward about a year and a half later. I'm 19 years old. I really feel called to share the turning point in my spirituality, the turning point in my faith, because up until this point, I would pray to the universe, not so much praying to God. I woke up in the hospital and I had no recollection of what happened the night before, but in my soul, I knew something bad happened. Woke up at 5:55 and I just remember thinking to myself, where are my keys? I need to drive to California. I guess that was God's way of telling me. He communicates in ways that don't always make total logical sense. Sometimes he communicates to us in ways that defy all logic. And so anyway, my friend picked me up, I went home, I slept a little bit, and then I woke up around 10 a.m. When I woke up, I saw my family and I just knew from the look on their faces I was in trouble. Something had happened. I had felt that something happened, but I couldn't remember anything. Also, please bear with me. I'm being very vulnerable, but I do believe that vulnerability is a strength, and I feel that God has called me to share my testimony to hopefully impact someone's life, whether it's just one person. I know I'm doing something right. I come home and my family is not speaking to me. They just told me that I was not invited to the family function. My entire family was in town. I have a really big family, but they were all in town. We were celebrating my uncle's promotion. He was being promoted to an admiral in the Coast Guard, which is a very honorable rank. It's the highest rank in the Coast Guard that you can be, essentially. Really big deal. My entire family was in town and I was feeling hurt. This is where the magic, this is where God stepped in. So here I am, it's 10 a.m. My family is leaving for the entire day. And so I decided to revisit the thought of, oh, where are my keys? I need to drive to California. This exact day, I had to go get an oil change. So I remember I drove to go get an oil change, and as I was driving there, I said out loud, okay, universe, if I'm supposed to go to California, show me 999. This is important. I return home from getting my oil changed, which you would need fresh oil to drive across the entire country. No coincidence, right? I show up at my house and there is a white car outside of my house, all 9s on the license plate. What the heck? That's pretty clear. I was convinced at 19 years old, okay, you know, this is how the universe communicates to me. This is how God communicates to me. So I just started packing. My tax return just hit. I'm 19 years old, fresh oil in my car, and I see these 9s. After I very specifically asked for that sign, I started mapping out this plan in my head. Okay, my family's gone. There's no coincidence that they're gone. How about I just start packing my suitcase? I said to myself, I'm gonna pack my suitcase for about 2 weeks. It didn't make any logical sense that this would be the time that I move or go to California for whatever 2 weeks. but it was. I made sure that I packed my entire car. Everything that I needed would be in the car before my family got home. It wasn't until midnight. I just acted like I was going to the gym. I've always loved the gym. I've always been big into fitness. It wasn't out of the normal that I would go to the gym at a late time. I was too afraid to tell my parents, because how do you even tell your parents that you feel called by the universe to go drive your car across the country because there's an experience waiting for you? Left a letter and I said good night to my parents. I'll see you later. I'm going to the gym. And then I literally just started driving. Put the destination in my phone. I was terrified a little bit. Not terrified of driving there, but just terrified of how my family was going to react in the morning once they read my letter. So many thoughts were running through my head. Am I crazy? Should I turn back? Am I doing the right thing? Am I gonna lose my family? I did not even have a plan in place of what I was gonna do when I got there. Literally taking it day by day, trusting in the universe, trusting in this force that showed me the nines, told me to go to California in the first place. When I was at a gas station, I remember asking the universe, because like I said, at this time I was praying to the universe. I said, okay, universe, if I need to turn back and go home, give me a sign, give me something. Or if I need to keep going, please, give me a sign. I was checking out, I was grabbing a Red Bull because I just needed energy to keep going. I'm running off of no sleep, just adrenaline. And this woman behind me, she said to me, hey sweetie, I know you don't know me, but wherever it is you are headed, keep going and do not turn back. Okay, there's my answer. And so I just kept going. I just kept driving. I made it to Tennessee. That's when I get that phone call from my dad. He's like, hey, I read your letter. And you know what he did? He encouraged me to keep going. He said to me, I was your age once too, and I wanted to see the world. That's why I joined the military, and I saw so many things and I learned so much. I encourage you to keep going. Why don't you reach out to your cousins? Like I said, I have a really big family. They're all over the States, and they just happened to be in the path that I took to get to San Diego. I reached out to my cousin Harold. He's very curious as to what I am doing and why am I doing it. The morning after I was going to leave and continue my journey, he said to me, Morgan, I am not really a believer in God, and I've never prayed before, but I feel like I want to say a prayer for you. And he made me breakfast, he packed me lunch, and I went on my way. But I will never forget that moment when my cousin came to me saying, Morgan, I'm not really a believer in God. I've never talked to him. I've never prayed to him, but I want to pray for you. That is so beautiful. My next destination was Dallas, Texas. I had spent time living there in my youth. My amazing friend Albert hosted me that night, which was so special to me because I hadn't seen him in years. We were best friends in 7th grade. This next part of this testimony that I'm about to get to is the most important. The most pivotal point of my life, my entire life. Talk about God drawing you close to him. Oh, he was drawing me close. I left Albert's house in the morning and I was still driving through Texas 12 hours later. It was extremely not smart of me, but I decided to park my car at a rest stop in the middle of West Texas, middle of nowhere. I decided to close my eyes when I get a text from my friend. He had my location. He said to me, what are you doing? Where are you? And I said, oh, I've been driving all day. I'm so tired. I'm just gonna sleep here for a few hours. He said, absolutely not. Are you crazy? He was so generous and offered to pay for a hotel for me to stay the night in. I'd been driving all day. It was late. It was about midnight. Continue my journey and I drive to this hotel, which is 30 minutes away, and I am so tired. Trying to keep myself awake by blaring the music, doing everything in my power to stay awake so I don't fall asleep at the wheel. I arrive at this hotel. When I tell you I'm in Tumbleweed, Texas, I'm not lying. It's like some Rango lizard movie type vibe. I have never seen anything like this in my life. It was past midnight. It was very late. It was technically the next day. I go up to the window. I show the lady my reservation. I'm like, hi, I'm Morgan. I have a room for the night. And she said to me, sorry, but your check-in isn't until tomorrow. You're gonna have to check in tomorrow. I need to stay here tonight. I don't know where I am. I'm alone. I have a Maryland license plate. I'm obviously not from here. Call my friend. I'm like, hey, she's not letting me stay the night. He called the place, tried to explain the situation. It didn't work. I don't know where I am. I don't speak a lick of Spanish. It was like a movie. She slams the shutters on me. I sat down right under the shutter and I said out loud, God, if you are real, I need you right now. I need you right now. And I don't know where this police officer came from, but within that same minute, a police officer drove up to me and said, ma'am, what are you doing? I explained to him my situation. I've been traveling. I'm not from here. Here's my reservation. I'm supposed to stay at this hotel tonight, but the reception lady is not making an exception for me to stay here. He knocked on the shutter and he said, ma'am, you need to let this woman stay the night here. I see that there's a reservation made. She needs to stay the night here. No questions asked. She looked at me and said, okay, ma'am, check out at 11 a.m. I didn't call upon the universe. I called upon God immediately. He showed up in that form of the police officer to help me. God is real. He is always listening to you. I think he just wants us to invite him to call on to him. Due to the circumstances that I was in, all I could do in that moment was call on God, and he showed up immediately for me. Everything I'm saying happened. I was 19 years old. I had been absent from the church. I grew up Catholic. Due to some life experiences, I found myself a little far from God. He drew me so close to him. Ever since that night, I've been praying to God, and I thank him all the time, every night, for how he shows up for me on a daily basis. In every single moment, he is here for me. This is my main testimony. I was stranded. I thought I was so alone, but I was not alone. God was with me the entire time. He sent me the friend to check up on me when I was at the rest stop. He sent me to my cousin. He spoke through my dad to me, sent me that 999. He was setting me up to draw so close to him in a way that I cannot deny his existence. I feel so blessed to have had such an intimate moment with him. I've had my own trials and tribulations. I'm still working on myself. Now here I am at 22 years old and I feel so called to share this story. It gets better. After that, I made my way to Arizona. I stayed with my cousin Megan. The next morning, I leave this hotel, have my Venmo written on my car because I'm driving across the country. Received a message from Facebook from a gentleman who expressed to me, hi, I don't have Venmo, but I'm a father of 2 daughters. Do you have Cash App? I'd love to send you some gas money. So I gave this gentleman my Cash App. I didn't use it yet. I drove 12 hours to Arizona. I had 1 mile left on my car and there was 1 mile to my cousin's house. I stopped at a gas station right next to her place. This woman, she was a pregnant woman. She came up to me and she said, excuse me, ma'am, do you have $48 to spare? I need a place to stay for the night. And at first I was selfish and I thought about myself thinking, I need the money. I need this $50 to fill up my gas tank. And I thought to myself, like something clicked in my brain. I was like, Morgan, you are so fortunate that you have a place to stay tonight. You can go be with your cousin. You don't have to pay for a room. You're taken care of tonight. Cashed up to her the $50. I paid it forward. When that switch happened in my brain, I immediately knew this is God using me to pay it forward. I felt like I was given that $50 not to use on myself, but to give to this woman so that she could stay somewhere. I went on my way, thanked my cousin. San Diego was only about 6 hours away from me. I'm driving and I'm in this place called Yuma. I went to go stop and get gas. As I go to pay for my gas, the guy at the counter said to me, ma'am, just drive a mile and gas is $1 cheaper there. And he said to me, God is real. And I think God sent you to me so I could tell you that gas is $1 cheaper just a mile down the road. Me and this stranger are having this beautiful talk about God, and he's telling me about how God has turned him sober and given him another chance to create a life with his daughters. We even took a selfie together. It was such a prominent moment in both of our journeys. You know, God didn't just send him to me, but he sent me to him. I forever keep this man in my prayers. I'm just so grateful that I met so many beautiful people along my journey to get to San Diego. By the time I get there, I texted my friend Bayla. She goes by B. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in San Diego. Do you want to hang out? She said, hey, yeah, come to my apartment when you get here. I get there. She was like, hey, my roommates, they moved out. The rent is paid for this month. If you want to move in, you're more than welcome. You can stay here for a month for free and try and get a job. I feel like God tested me. God gave me this beautiful reward because I paid it forward, called upon him, because I did the work that he called me to do. He used me as a vessel to help other people as they helped me. This weight of relief was lifted off my shoulders. You know, I had a place to stay. I had great company. I had such an amazing experience living there. It was just such a beautiful journey to experience, not knowing how my path is going to unfold for me, not knowing where I'm going to stay, but also not worrying. God made it so clear to me that He's here for me. I hope God is working in your life, and whether you realize it or not, He is working in your life. He's working in my life every day. He's with you in every moment. If you just need anything, call out to Him. It's okay if you feel shy to pray. You know, I used to struggle with that. Thank you all for listening to my testimony. I send you all so much love.